Hi, I'm Padget-Koh. I have 30 years experience in fashion and sportswear. We're seeing how customers are engaging in new and interesting ways with brands. We're fully seeing the power of community, and that's what we're going to talk about today. In the past few years, especially since the COVID pandemic, we've seen consumers use retail spaces in new and interesting ways. I think all those years of being locked away in isolation had us crave community, to go somewhere to see things that were real, to try them on, to touch them, and to interact with other real people, not just a screen. And out of that, brands have reciprocated by using their retail spaces for activations, events, educational purposes. And this has created a whole new environment of retail, which is innovative and exciting. If we look at the activewear space across Asia, there are some interesting things happening. The Chinese activewear brand Xtep has a couple of pretty amazing running spaces, a store in Xiamen on the running track by the sea, and another store in Singapore where they really focus on their running community and create events, races, all kinds of opportunities for them. And in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, New Balance have a store for their runners. They provide lockers, they provide 3D foot scanning, which gives opportunity for their consumers to use the retail space in a new way, and also supports them with their actual running capability. Ways that stores can use their retail space for other activities. They can create adjacent activations, races, runs, educational opportunities, meetups. I've seen other stores where they have coffee shops and places to bring your pets. If we go back to one of the most iconic uses of a retail space, Rafa was one of the first brands to really introduce this in a very powerful way. In their Soho store, where they had the coffee shop that was like an Italian espresso environment, really cool, really amazing, and often full of professional cyclists and hobby cyclists at the same time, a very buzzy environment. This was the start of the Rafa Clubhouse, which now has outlets all over the world, including in our home city of Hong Kong, where cyclists get to meet together, ride together, learn more about bikes and clothing, and just generally get to meet together as a group. That then leads on to Tracksmith, who've done a similar model where they have pop-up weekends at major global marathons, including Tokyo, London, and of course, their own Boston Marathon. Right now, we see a lot of run clubs, whether they're from retail spaces or private members clubs or just created in a certain part of a city. This had originated from cycling. Obviously, right now, running is the big trend. It'll be interesting to see when a new sport rises and becomes very prominent, will this continue to evolve in new and interesting ways? My guess is yes, it will. A brand now really needs to provide a lot more than purely product. Consumers really demand that. They don't just want to buy more stuff, they want to learn about the sport, learn about themselves, improve, perform at a higher level. And that's not only a responsibility for a brand, but it's also a great opportunity, a way to connect deeper with the consumer, to take them on a journey with them, to help them achieve their goals and be there to share the victories. In many cities, we see run clubs coming from communities, and these are really valuable communities. The big brands have seen the potential for that and have gone on to collaborate with smaller brands and sponsor races and pop-up events. We see that with Puma crossing over with Say Sky and Adidas with the Atlas Collective, where they are able to access their communities. We've seen that these brands can bring people together at a juncture of two formerly competing brands and create a new community and a new opportunity for people to connect together. We've seen an evolution in socialization. People want to connect and be with others in different environments. And this, of course, has an impact on their fitness journey. Whereas at one time, it was the studio or the gym, and now there's opportunities to go to lots of different places to do different sports and different activities, whether alone or with others. The gym is still very relevant, but it isn't the main context for what a fitness journey is. This gives brands opportunities to engage with their consumers in new and interesting ways. On a bit of a lighter note, I was talking to a vineyard owner, and he was really looking into how he could bring fitness into his world of his amazing vineyard in Burgundy, France, by hosting wine education and runs in that beautiful environment. We're seeing more and more examples of lifestyles being compatible with run clubs and other sporting activities, bringing different lifestyles together to create something new and to cross-collaborate as communities. The importance of sustainability in fitness and sporting clothing is really valuable, especially as we do more and more outdoor activities. This is nature focused, and we need to respect the nature around us and ensure its longevity. Sustainability in clothing isn't just product only. As we see consumer trends for sustainability increasing, we also have to look internally in our own organizations or brand environments for how we can integrate that there. I was head of product Asia for Puma. And during that time, we implemented a lot of measures for our own suppliers around sustainability. And then I had a look at what we were actually doing ourselves in our office. We would have failed that audit. We put together a task force for sustainability, and we brought in people from every department, and we looked at what the easy wins were, and every month we went to something deeper. We looked at simple things like recycled paper, what we were doing with the aircon temperature. We looked at plants. We also reduced the use of water, people washing their own lunch boxes by buying 2 dishwashers, the money for which we raised through sample sales. It was all very earthy and sustainable. And yet it brought our teammates together and gave a huge sense of accomplishment. This grassroots initiative had a tremendous effect throughout the organization. Senior leadership saw it as something that brought the teams together. People were educated. They took that education home and into their own lives. We came together as a group of people committed to something really important and something that really was inspiring for us and we knew made a difference. While we see the power of community usually in the customer base, the power in internal community is really relevant and important. The experience we had at Puma was irreplaceable. It brought everybody together to create something very meaningful for themselves, for the organization, and for the future of the planet. Founders looking to utilize communities, remember, this has to be authentic and have integrity. Your consumers, your customers know when you're doing something to get somewhere. This isn't just about selling them more stuff. They will know if you really mean it, and they will know if you're just trying to get more money out of them. Be generous, have integrity, and bring your powerful community together. The direction of communities is not just a trend, and don't treat it like it is one. Consumers know when it's just a trend and you're treating it that way. We've had a long time of that greenwashing trend, and as that faded, we see who is truly committed to sustainability and to making that difference, longevity move. In summary, we're seeing the way that consumers interact with brands is really changing. It's new, it's interesting, and it'll keep evolving. Yet we have to look at the 360 view of this, externally and internally, and with partners. This is the full picture. So whether you have an existing community you're building and engaging with, or you're looking to build a new one, bring integrity into your community in the way you build it, and consider your own ways of behaving with your own internal community in a way which has integrity and longevity.